This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system. Hello, welcome to the Latics Football Phone-In with me and Dave.
Hello.
I expect it's going to be a quiet one tonight.
Not much to talk about.
Not much to talk about, apart from the opening game of the weekend.
Yeah, and to quote Andy, languid, sad, rubbish.
I should have
abhorrent.
I should have clipped that, shouldn't I?
You should have.
Yeah. Oh well, lots more of exciting things to come, I'm sure. Yeah, get in touch. Give us a call if you haven't phoned up before. Well, you don't phone up, do you? You click the link. The link's in the comments, and it's also on Twitter,
YouTube.
Did you put it? It's on Facebook in the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just click on it, and then you'll like Linda Perry's mom and Ibby and the Wandering Fisherman and Terry and Danny Fairbrother and Jack, who's
and Big Ben Bittner,
some kid in a park on the roundabout with some of his mates. We're not sure if that's if we're asking for trouble letting them in.
Oh, let him in. We're a broad church.
Broad church. Big Ben Bittner.
Yeah.
So there's a queue.
Bittner.
There's
Bittner.
Bittner.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about the fantastic display on Saturday by Southend, or the poor, languid, abhorrent, crap, rubbish performance by Oldham Athletic.
Well, we did see some fast dynamic football, unfortunately from Southend.
Oh, Farron Sells 87.
See what he did there.
You're a card.
See what he did there. You've got your own fan club, Terry. The Dale is already asking for the captain, so we'll make you wait.
Yeah.
Got a private chat. And staff.
And staff.
What that means? Do you?
I've no idea. But we're going to find out.
Brad reckons it's disappointing that we've not heard from Unsworth yet. Wonder if we do a pre-game interview this week.
Maybe
we should go and ask.
I could always ask him.
Preeminent Latics.
He might even phone in.
He might do. He might be watching. He might phone in.
Oh, we've got more callers. We've got the callers waiting.
Oh,
waiting in. Goodness me, there.
Mark and Nick are waiting there.
And we're going to hear from the ever so lovely Nick Cansfield from Aldershot for the upcoming game on Saturday.
Yeah, we've got a game coming up, haven't we? It's not all about the game that's just gone.
No, it's about the future.
The future,
the
right?
Present, the now.
Should we take a gamble on the kid on the roundabout?
Jack, you're coming in.
Jack.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you, mate.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good.
Nice.
What do you want to say, mate?
It's a pleasure to be on here. And on Saturday, I didn't go to the game, but I had it on TV. Unfortunately, no commentary. But
yeah, same.
To be fair, I was expecting a win, even if it was just a 1-0 or 1-1 draw. At the end of the game, I thought, because I thought we were going to finish 7th or in the playoffs, and then I thought we were going to finish outside, because when you look at it, it was embarrassing. And it's a team who's struggling and who hardly got any players with no pre-season, and it's just everyone was expecting a win or a draw. I don't think anyone went to that game and thought we're going to get battered 4-0 off Southend and played out the park.
No, I agree with you
totally
entirely.
Agree.
I thought it was. You said embarrassing then, didn't you, Jack?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was embarrassing, wasn't it? It was embarrassing because we got battered.
Yeah, we got.
There's
no two ways about it.
What? Go on, Dave. Sorry.
Did you see any positives from the game on Saturday at all?
The only positive was I think it was Hogan who dragged the players at the end to clap the fans. I think that was positive.
That was after the game had finished, though, wasn't it? Unfortunately.
Sorry about that.
It's all right, Jack.
All the youths.
Yeah, he's managing it on his end. I'm impressed.
So, what do you think about the upcoming game against Aldershot at home? First home game of the season. Are you looking forward to it? Do you think we'll win?
You know what? I looked at the result. That they won 5-2, I think, one day on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we've got no midfielders, so it's going to be a hard game, I think. But in my opinion, I don't rate Shelton. So and John Rooney's still at the club, I believe. So I would give him just one game to get clubs, and then clubs might come around him and go, "Oh, he's a decent player."
I don't think the thing with Rooney is about his ability. I think it's more to do with something about his personality in and around the squad and the team and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we need to win football matches, don't we? So I don't know. What do you reckon the main problem is? What do you reckon the main issue is that made the season start as badly as it did?
You know, when Lundstrom got injured, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fan of Shelton, and I think. Wait, what did you say?
What do you think the main issue is? What do you think the main problem is? Because I know that there's going to be plenty of people on here saying that Unsworth's the main issue, and he's and everything would be better if he went. What do you think?
You know what? I back Unsworth, and I still do, but in my opinion, he plays too defensive. But that might be because he's a defender. He was a defender himself at Everton, so that might be the only way, obviously, because he's come through that position in his life. That might be the only way he knows how to play football. But obviously, you did an interview and he wanted to play fast dynamic football. But I can only see that if he's changed his formation.
What do you think he should go with on Saturday?
You know what? We got so many strikers. I think he should play maybe a 4-4-3 with Kurt, Norwood, and Reed. But that's
4-3-3. 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think
it'd be nice if we could play a 4-4-3. We get an extra player. We might have a chance.
I meant 4-3-3.
Yeah. I'm only joking, mate.
But we don't have a right back though, do we? Who would you play at right back?
Kuto or Kitchen, I don't know. Someone who's got a full-back ability.
Well,
I tell you what though, last season Shelton made like one good game at right back. Maybe, and I think Sutton could do a job at right back as well. To be honest, but I'm not sure he's like
3-game ban.
The bet. Oh yeah, that's true. So it won't be Sutton.
Yeah. I don't think Reagan might have a job there, but I would more like him at centre half with Hayden.
Yeah.
And then obviously Kitchen as left back.
I
like the way that you got all the names wrong, but we still know who you're talking about. Reagan and
Raglan and Hogan.
Reagan and Hayden.
Hayden.
Yeah. But apart from that, it's been an excellent call, and you speak more sense than a lot of the people.
For the first call of the night, mate, you've done brilliant. And thanks for coming on. And come on again, please.
I will, don't worry.
Yeah, we're going to get through the calls. Cheers, pal. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah. Cheers.
See you, mate. Nice one,
Jack.
We'll have to remove you from the studio, Jack, now, because
we're going to have to kick you.
Because we need to make room for the
Not
next
literally,
people coming in.
Literally.
Okay, this little scamp here can come on next.
Shelton's #1 fan.
All right, Danny.
Hi, boys. How are you now?
All right, yeah.
Not bad.
Good. It's only football, isn't it? I mean, there's no need to be depressed, is there? It's only a game, isn't it? How are you feeling? What's your take on the weekend? Did you have a nice day out in Southend?
No. I drove home Friday, 3 hours. Picked up Zoe and Reese. Drove 6 hours to Southend. All excited, checked in my hotel, buzzing. Went out Friday night with Zoe and Reese. Terry, the captain, his good lady. Went out, morning time, breakfast, everything going brilliant. Went to the football, excited. Saw the starting lineup. I thought, for God's sake, he's at it again. Sheringham Shelton midfield. I thought, surely we can't be that bad. Pre-season, they've not had a pre-season. Kicks off the game, was on the defence straight away. Well, if you can call it a defence. There was pressing. There was first to every ball. Disgusted. Absolutely disgusted. Them two guys in midfield should never pull on a Latic shirt ever again. Shelton is the worst player I've seen in 20 years. Easily.
Really?
He is absolutely pathetic. He didn't press. He jockeyed. He looked like he was jockeying. He were backing off. Inviting him to make a pass. He wouldn't tackle. Every time he got the ball, he didn't find a blue shirt. Well, what colour did he play? An orange shirt. He didn't play an orange shirt. He was absolutely abysmal.
and I have never ever been as annoyed in my life.
Would you say that the problems on Saturday specifically were because of the midfield, or would you say that the problems were all over the pitch?
Well, all over the pitch, but that midfield did not help at all. Kitchen's normally solid. He had not one of his best games. He was knocking it long, knocking it out of touch, playing the long ball every time. Raglan, I thought he looks decent. He was shite. Sorry for the language. Hobson, is he called Hobson?
Yeah.
Yeah. He got bullied off their front two from the start because obviously he's their ex-player. So he was probably nervous. The fans were giving it him.
Yeah. And he got booked quite early on as well, didn't he?
Mm.
Will Sutton has been hung out to dry off Unsworth. We knew we needed a right back. Unsworth has hung him out to dry. Fans around us were shouting him, going in on him. They were going mental at him, and I thought, he's a young lad. He's playing out of position. He's trying his hardest. He's an Oldham boy, and it was disgusting how he was like spoke about by fans.
I think it's completely out of order. And this is the kind of thing that really annoys me, because that is not constructive. Like you say, he's one of our players. He's one of the lads who's come through. There's a good footballer in Will Sutton, because if there wasn't, he wouldn't be being asked to play completely out of position like that. But he played as a centre half. That kind of thing does not help. And if there's someone stood next to you giving a player like that, Will Sutton, like Will Sutton grief, have a word, because and if you're doing it yourself, have a word with yourself, because it's not his fault. He's doing his best. Yeah. And that kind of stuff really, really gets on my goat. Like you said, Danny, he has been hung out to dry. We should have had that position filled. The central midfielder, you could say, all right, we're unlucky that Lundstrom's injured. Dan Ward's now injured. I'm not sure whether he's a player that plays in the centre of midfield or not. We've had the issue with John Rooney. Is he coming in or is he not? He always looked like a better central midfielder than being played on the left-hand side. The frustration, Danny, from a lot of fans, and I share it, is that there are key areas of the field that haven't been improved since last season. And we started this season worse than we ended last season. And that's just not fair
enough, is it?
Do you know, for me, I spent £500 to take my family down there this weekend. And for me, if Gardner is fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to play.
Agreed.
Right? So Shelton was having an absolute nightmare. I'm wound up tonight, even in the summer room. I am absolutely livid. If he starts on Saturday, I'm going home. I'm not even going to watch a match, because he's made me that annoyed. He's not a midfielder. He's not even a footballer. He's a fancy dress footballer.
What if he plays at right back?
Fuck him. Sorry. Shelton is atrocious, mate. He is absolutely... He's scared to put a foot in. He won't head it. He can't pass it. He jockeys. He falls back. You lose 10 metres when he's going to... When the midfield's on him.
Well, with him and Sheeran, there is no midfielder that is on the front foot.
Nothing.
Like we said on the podcast at the weekend.
Defensive midfielders,
those goals from even then they're just backing off, inviting Southend to shoot from distance, which is how they scored a couple of their goals. And midfield, I played in midfield when I was younger. You've got to take the game by the scruff of the neck. Like, you've got to get on the ball. You've got to drive the ball forward. If you play a ball forward from midfield, you've got to follow it. You've got to chase it. You've got to get up with the player. Like, you can't just keep sitting back. Somebody in your midfield has to own the game and has to own that centre circle and make the game tick. And it's just not happening. And unfortunately, putting those two players back in there has made a rod for management's own back by doing the same thing that wasn't working last season.
That was Matt Zico Dean giving his midfield assessment there.
Absolutely.
I was a centre half all my playing career, and if the midfield wasn't doing their job, I'd be on their back straight away.
Absolutely.
What are you doing? Hogan they're inviting pressure onto Hogan, and whoever, I don't know what formation he played. I don't know who was at the back with Hogan. I know Hobson was, but I don't know if he was left back or whatever he was. It was all wishy-washy. And
well, that was the thing, wasn't it? When you were watching,
Yeah.
what I was watching, at first I couldn't figure out what we're supposed to be playing here because it looked disorganized. And when we've had a whole pre-season and new players coming in, the first thing you expect from that team is for them to look organized and like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I can't believe Ebro coming out saying, I was so annoyed, when he come out, they were sharper. How did he think they were sharp? How on earth was they sharper? We obviously haven't. We might have trained in pre-season. Someone said, "Oh, they might have been burnt out." How can you have been burnt out in pre-season? They're professional athletes.
Yeah, I think we've got to remember. I think a lot of people. I know it's, and I get it, and I know you're frustrated, but you've got to, obviously he's come in after a 4-0 defeat, and Unser's back in training. He's not going to. I don't think he'll stand for that performance again. In the interest of balance, we've got to give them you've got to give him a bit of time, haven't you, to turn it around, because first game, like anyone, isn't it? You get a bad result and show a poor performance, you've got to react to it, and they've got to be given time to react. And also the coaching team have got to give that time to react. And I know it's frustrating, I know it's hard, but I think we've got to give him that time. And hopefully Aldershot will see some form of improvement, because it's drastically needed. Because if he plays like that at home, or we play like that at home, I think it's going to go a bit sour in it and a bit toxic. And
yeah, I think so. From my point of view, if SAS start Shelton and Sheeran and they're still starting at Christmas, then my season ticket's going on the pitch, because I'm not paying for that. I've supported them all my life. Shelton and Sheeran still at Christmas, then I'm not going again until they find the what do you call it? Like, they find the answer, because them two are not footballers. They're not footballers at all.
Right,
Fair enough.
Until then, we'll see you on Saturday.
Cheers, mate.
I'll see you Saturday, boys, but
yeah, see you later, mate. Let's get through the callers. Boys. Thanks for ringing, Danny. All the best, mate.
Cheers.
Right. He's been mentioned already a couple of times on the show. He's the reason you all tune in. He's had a shave.
He's sexy Terry Whaley.
Good evening. How are we?
Good, yeah. Right, come on. How are you feeling now? We spoke to you before the season started. How are you?
You went viral on Saturday with your video after the game.
Well, I'd had a few pints after the game, so I've done, believe it or not. So let's not read too much into that. It was disappointing. I agree with everything that Dan's just said. I'm not reading too much into one result. There's a lot of knee-jerk reactions, isn't there, of people saying sack him and get rid of him. Unsworth's not this. I think he needs a massive reaction this Saturday, though. All right, it was a poor result. Losing the first game of the season is not the end of the world. We've got 45 other games, but we need. You can accept losing games, but it just seemed like there was a bit of a lack of effort. I thought when Ward were injured, it were crying out for Dan Gardner to come on. Obviously, that didn't happen. But yeah, we need a massive reaction this Saturday and a miles better performance than that. Otherwise, like you said, Dave, I think things can turn pretty sour pretty quickly, because there's probably 50% of the fan base on his back already.
I think the frustration that the manager will have and the club will have is that the player we've just talked about, the player that puts his foot on the ball, that wins everything, that chases everything, the passer, he's on his day is Dan Gardner, and he's obviously Josh Lundstrom who's out injured. So there's those two players that if they were fit could do that job for us, and it is very frustrating. So they've got to sort of like make do with what they've got. Having said that, absolutely. Having said that, we need a bit more depth in that area. Midfield was a massive problem last season, as was right back, and it's not been fixed, and that is a little bit, I guess, from our point of view, frustrating.
Do you think they're looking at people? They've got to be, haven't they?
They would have said so. Yeah, the window's open. Anyway, it doesn't shut the National League, but you've got to get the good players while they're available, haven't you? That's the thing.
Maybe he's just not signed anybody because he doesn't see anybody that who was available that was good enough or better than what we could have in Sharon and Shelton. maybe that's the reason he's not just going spending money for the sake of spending it, which I kind of understand if that is the reason. But we're speculating at that sort of rumours. But
I think even despite the personnel available and the injuries and this, that, and the other, we expected a lot more in terms of the pace of the game, making it difficult, closing Southampton down, quietening the crowd, doing all the things, the basic things that you would expect. That didn't happen. Straight from the offset, it was like we were off the pace and we never caught up.
Agreed. We were awful. I don't think I've seen a worse performance than that from Oldham Athletic in my time. We were as bad as anything I've seen. We were just second to everything. We had about 10 minutes after Sutton got sent off where we looked like we tried to string a few passes together. Unsuccessfully, might I add, but it looked like we had a goal.
Though, is it? A 10-minute spell. It's not good enough, is it?
Absolutely not, no. And, I've said this before. It's professional sport, and with professional sport, you're judged on results. It's not under nines football where you go out, well, it's all right, at least you enjoyed yourself. That's not, it doesn't work at this sort of level, whether it be National League or Premier League. It's professional sport and it's judged upon results, and we've had a bad one. So we need a better result and a better performance at least this Saturday.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get one.
What do you want to see? What changes do you want to see me made at the weekend?
I'd like to see Gardner and Rooney, but I don't think that'll happen. So just a little bit more endeavour, because if he's going to go with the same sort of lineup, but why sign all the strikers we've got and be so defensive? Stick Fond up at right back. Have a go. I don't do it. Do something.
Captain has spoken. Make it happen.
Stick Fond. We can play that, can't we? We can use that as a soundbite. Play Fond up at right back. Okay. What score Saturday, Tez? Quickly before we get to the next caller.
I think I'll go for a 2-1 win.
Fond up coming on
from right back.
And,
Fond up from right back. Yeah, with a
90-yard run.
Love it.
Take it.
We'll take it.
Cheers,
nice
mate.
one. Cheers. Tez.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
See you.
What I wanted to just want to mention this, and because I want to talk about is if we go 1-0 down the Rochester Road, then we'll be toxic. So if we do go, this is about the shared responsibility thing, isn't it? Like we've got to get behind the team at the start again. The best thing we can do, in my opinion, is put that result behind us and try not to carry it into the game early on.
Stop living in the past, Simon.
Yeah. Well, no, he's taking
sorry.
result. But the thing is that if we do go 1-0 down and everybody starts to lose it, it's not going to help.
No, we just have to support.
It's just hard. I know it's hard not to, but I'm hoping that that we do at least go. Well, we'll have to see, but keeping the support going, because the support has been fantastic at home, and the results last season were really good. So, but we're just in that position now.
Get behind the team.
Just in that situation where it's on that knife edge with a lot of supporters, and at the end of the day,
the second game of the season.
It's the second game of the season, but that's how people are feeling. Yeah. Whether we agree with it or disagree with it is immaterial, because that's how people feel. That's how people feel. I wish I was a fisherman. Floating on the sea.
Hello, the wandering fisherman. Hello.
The Water Boys. Is this what's he called? The singer from the Water Boys?
Know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Are you there, wandering fisherman?
Hey, yeah, sorry, I weren't planning on talking. I was just planning on listening. But I'm here.
Oh, right. No, you clicked the wrong link then. This is the participation link.
What do you want to say? Quickly.
If you click this link, you have to participate. So please do. You're here now, yeah.
I know people will say I'm a knee-jerk reaction to Saturday, but I'm firmly in the camp of Unsworth out. I really am. 39 games into his tenure, and we've seen virtually no improvement in performances, really. Saturday was an utter disgrace, and I just can't see how he can change it. I just can't see how we can improve that performance to the extent we need to actually get promotion, because that was so bad. There wasn't one positive to take away from it at all. And for me, I just can't see how we can turn this around. I really don't. I think we may well start to see slight improvements in the results the way we did the back end of last season, but we've got to be a damn sight better. And for me, he's just not the guy to do it. I really do think that we need to consider pulling the plug on it and finding somebody who's got that background of getting teams out of the National League, because I just don't know how you can improve that from Saturday with the players he's got available.
You say you're a knee jerk. It's one game. I think you're body jerk at the moment, mate. You're jerking everywhere.
Hey,
sorry, sorry. But I think it. I think it's too. I think it's too soon. I think he's got to get the players to gel. They've played a couple of pre-season games. All right, he's lost 3 of his midfield, like Devine Green, Dan Ward, Josh Lundstrom. They were going to be his first team selection. He's lost 3 of his mainstay players. All right, he played the incorrect tactics against Southend, and we paid for it. We've got to see how he changes it on Saturday and give the guy a chance. That's
it. What can he change from Saturday?
Well, they could have changed on Saturday. They could have changed the formation during the game. Like, it wasn't working, was it?
No.
And that frustrated me. That just like Norwood and whoever he was playing up top, whether it was Nuttall
Unsworth weren't there though as well, was he as well?
I know, but he would have been in contact with Eberl, and you'd expect that someone with John Eberl's experience to be able to change something in the game. Like I said on the podcast, I want them to do things that I'm not going to see and I'm not going to think of because they know more about the game than I do. So that I find that frustrating.
If you're a professional manager, why at half-time do you make 0 changes on Saturday? When it was absolutely crystal clear to anybody who watched that game that we were being completely outplayed in every facet of the game. His response was 0 to just carry on. And everybody keeps banging on about one game. We're not. It's 39 games now, and it just seems like consistent excuses. And if you look at it from last season as well, it was a point where we were saying, "Well, give him a pre-season." Well, we've given him a pre-season.
Pre-season and one game. I mean, like, yeah, people say it's like 30 odd games from last season, but how? Now, this is the thing I've been thinking about. You're not just turning around a team here; you're turning around a club, and it takes more than 30 odd games. I think, in my view, to turn everything around. Now, that's regardless of whether David Unsworth is the right man to do it or not. Because the other thing is, this is a huge job for a manager who's never managed before, and if that turns out to be too big a job for somebody with that experience, then that means that the club have hired the wrong man. If it turns out that he is the right man for that experience, the only way that you're probably going to find that out is by being patient and giving him time. So this is where the board are at. They've got that decision to make. How long do they stand by the man for? It's one game. Yeah. You've just said 3 midfielders there that would go into the team that couldn't start. So personally, I mean, I think when you say it's been 30 odd games, for me, was prepared to draw a line under last season to say, right, it finished it much better, draw a line under it, do some recruitment, and see how we got on this season. I don't think we can say after one game that we've got a good assessment of the season. What we can say is that Saturday was absolutely bobbins. We all know that. Everybody knows that. There's no excusing that. But it doesn't give us an indication for how the season's going to turn out, I don't think.
No, of course not. There's plenty of games left to play, but I don't know. This just feels like another write-off potentially, because that was that bad that I can't see with the players he has available. And I think it's telling if we don't sign any players this week. I really do. If we don't pick anybody up this week, especially when the whole fan base is crying out for a right back, and we've got 3 midfielders, key players, as you've said, off the field for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and we sign nobody. I think that could be telling with where the board are with Unsworth. I don't think he's got as much time as people think. I really don't.
Quickly, Fisherman, what score on Saturday, mate?
I think we'll get beat 3-1. I'd love it to be different. I'll be there cheering them on, but I've got to be honest. I can't see how we can turn that around in a week, especially with the players they have available. But I hope they do.
Wow.
We'll find out on Saturday.
Cheers,
All
mate.
right,
Thanks for the call.
I'll look out for your boat.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
car park.
Don't
Thanks
worry.
for joining
Cheers,
in, mate.
lads.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Ooh. So look, one game. I don't think that the board have gone all pre-season
Spent all
with
that
their
money.
man, working with him closely day by day. Well, certainly Darren Royal is, and whoever is in and around the working day by day with the whole team, the coaching staff, everything, doing everything to then go one game into the season, then all of a sudden doubting it. I don't see that at all. So I don't think that unless we have an extremely bad run of results, that anything like that's going to happen. But we'll find out, won't we? So
to bring a bit of light relief, we've got the lovely Nick Cansfield from Aldershot. Just bear in mind, we've got Ibby, Linda Perry's mum, Ben Bittner, Graham, Mark Alberston, Keep the Faith, Bin Man, and Wandering Fisherman again. I think he's just watching. Yeah. We will be with you shortly, but just bear with us. So, Nick, hello, Nick.
Whoa, what are you doing, Nick? Apart from special effects,
Nick.
No, he's not connected. That's not right. That's not the normal. Oh, there he is.
Nick, are you there, Nick? No,
lots of static. You can't. We're going to have to kick you out. You have to try again, Nick.
Right, let's bring him in.
Here he goes.
The man, the myth, the hipster. Ibby.
Should we just say it for you? Sack David Unsworth and move on?
No. How are you guys? You all right?
Yeah,
good evening.
Yeah, not very good result that on Saturday, but as you know, it's only the first game. But my main concern is at the moment there's players unrest at the club, has been for a few months, which hasn't been resolved. Secondly, the players' bonus scheme hasn't been paid to them. The heads have dropped.
Where are you getting this information from, Ibby?
I don't want to disclose the information, but it's absolutely 100%.
Well, I think if you're going to come on and make claims like that, you should
Yeah, I did put this to the club this morning, but the person couldn't really say much to me. But it is true. But sadly, David Unsworth won't be going anywhere sooner at the moment, I think. But the response that I got from club sources is that he needs to pick up a result on Saturday. If not, I think it's game over because there's a lot of player unrest and a lot of sources telling me all this. And what I don't understand, it's a new season. If there has been issues in the camp, that it should have been resolved. Why bring it into the new season?
Well, it's all conjecture as far as we're concerned. We can't. There's no one here to back it up or whatever.
No evidence to be. So they're quite dangerous. There are allegations at the moment, and they're all alleged at the moment.
If it is, that's what you guys will think. I know you guys like David Unsworth, but on a serious note,
you can't just come on and say that a club hasn't paid the bonus scheme and there's unrest at the club without any defined facts or proof.
Yeah, it's just there's lots of rumours about the club.
It's a rumour. That's all we can put it down to. So, unless you can give us who said it and why they said it, and we can then approach the club and challenge the club in the appropriate manner that we do. We can't take these.
Yeah, I understand that, Dave and Matt, but the club hasn't really been honest since last season. If they were honest, they would have spoke with fans who email in asking questions. All we get told is come to a fans forum. Some people can't make fans forum.
Or send your questions into the fans forum, which was also an option.
Yeah, I did do that, but it didn't get answered. But that was absolutely pathetic on Saturday.
Yeah,
and
that's what we're here to talk about. Yeah, the football. It was poor. Yeah, no one's trying to cover that up. But it's just one game, and it was a bad start to the season. Accusations of this, that, and the other, I don't think are particularly helpful. But what do you think is going to happen on Saturday?
Saturday, I really don't know what will happen because players' confidence is down after that first game. We're hoping that they can win on Saturday, but if we lose, God help the manager and the backroom staff, because fans have made it clear all week what they think about what's happened. I'm not calling for his head because, as you know, I did tell you last week I would give him 10 games.
Yeah.
And I won't go back on my word, but he needs to change something if he wants to continue in the job. Because
yeah, but
because
he knows that, and that's up to the board. Like a lot of the fans talk as if like I'm giving him 10 games. Unfortunately, it's got nothing to. It's not up to us. It's like he's got a contract, and it's up to Unsworth and his players really more than it's up to anybody else.
But he needs to resolve issues in the club. He needs to bring John Rooney back because he's a quality player. I don't know why they're falling out, what's happened, but if he's still under contract, he's still an older player. He should resolve that matter. Give him a second chance to bring him back because we're asking for his experience. Because on Saturday, everybody was all over the park, mate. Honestly.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for calling, Ibu. We need to get through. We've got loads of callers.
See you next week.
Thanks a lot.
All right. See you. Right. Let's bring Nick in. Nick. There's lots of hiss.
We can't hear you, mate. You're not connected.
It's just hissing.
Hiss.
It's just a lot of hiss.
Right. Let's bring in Ben Bittner. Ben. Ready? Ben. Ben.
Well, that's the perils of live television, Dave. Thankfully, we're not regulated by Ofcom or anything like that, as far as I'm aware.
Well, I'm not.
Sorry about that. There's always some tosser. I was going to say something, whatever, but yeah.
Oh, mate.
No, dear, that was a bit
of a
shock.
shit.
That's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
Should get out more.
Right, Linda Perry's mum, your device is not connected, so we're going to keep kicking you from the studio until it is.
Yeah.
We'll try Nick again. Nick. No.
Nick.
Sorry, Nick. It's not
Is there a button I need to press?
Oh, no. We can hear you.
The button.
Yeah, no. It's terrible connection. You don't want to be part of this, and you don't want to be part of this porn channel.
Let's bring in Mark.
Mark, hello.
Welcome to Babe Station.
I mean, how do I follow that?
I'll give you Matt Dean's number later.
So let's get back to the football.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, can we just calm the fuck down? Because I'm kind of.
No, can we have less of the language? We've had pornography with language. Come on, it's supposed to be a family show.
Sorry, right. Apologies. It's not even 9:30 yet, is it? But there is that bit about I think we all know the game was rubbish. I think we all know the standards were utterly dreadful. If anything, maybe we just went in there too complacent. We've gone from before Saturday thinking we were up there winning the league or kind of top of the league. We have a bad result and it was dreadful. And then we're going, we're at the bottom end and it's like the end of the world. And I think it'd be nice if we could just have a bit of balance. I think the worry is that people have made the views up on Unsworth. And if you don't like him, you'll find every excuse to not like him. If you're happy to give him some time, you'll find every reason to give him some time. And I do agree with you, which is, it doesn't matter what we think, we're not the decision makers. I think the biggest problem for me after Saturday was there is an absence of leadership. And I do say this is Unsworth because he's not come out and said anything. I think there's just no kind of acknowledgement that was an utterly dreadful performance. And I know the guy's not been well, but you don't stop being the team manager just because you're not well at the moment. And I think he would have done himself a massive amount of favour if he'd have acknowledged publicly that was utterly shocking. It wasn't what he sent the team out to do, and there'd be a response. So he's going to at some point, but it feels like the time to say that was straight after the game. I think the players, apart from a few people that have picked up on dreadful standards, are getting off scot-free here. It can't just be about the manager. Can't just be about his tactics. We've got a group of professional players that have had a full pre-season. It's a better team than we had this time last season. And they're not taking responsibility. So I think it's, yes, the manager's got to step up. The coaches have, but so have all the players. Every single one of them needs to just have a real good hard look at themselves and acknowledge that they let the team down on Saturday, not just the manager and the coaches.
Can I just go back to the point you made if Unsworth came out and then talked about the game and then give his assessment of the game? Now, would that, in some respect, with the negativity that came from after the result, be lighting the litmus paper? Because there'd be a certain contingent of fans saying, well, he's just making excuses. It's not effing good enough. We need to improve, and he's just coming out saying the same old spiel, which has been said when he does try and defend the team and defend performances because he wants to build them up. Maybe he had nothing to say, and he actually knows that it wasn't a good performance, and trying to come out and trying to defend the performance in any way, shape, or form, or admitting to such a poor performance, I think that could have reacted badly back on him.
It's like you said, though, Mark. It's like anyone who's like there'll be some people. If he had come out and condemned the performance and said something publicly, there'd be people that were said, "Well done, that was the right thing to do," and then there'd be other people who got on his back for it. So he's in that situation at the minute. It seems where there's
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that when you played one game of the season, we've got 2 home games next season. Now we could go if we go out and now. It's all ifs. Well, if we go out and play these 2 teams off the park and get 2 great results, then all of a sudden that first game's a blip and you're moving on, aren't you? So, but if we lose both games or we draw both games or we win one, we lose one, then you can only start to see over a pattern developing over a number of games. So we've got the personnel issues, but I mean it doesn't excuse the fact that a team shouldn't look so unprepared as that team looked on Saturday. And what we're commenting on here is one game at a time. I think that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to not to get excited about last season because it's gone. One game at a time this season is all we have to look at. And that was far, far, far below par. Unsworth knows that, and the rest of the coaching staff know that. The players know that. Everybody at the club knows it. All the fans know it. There's only one thing that can remedy it, and that is 2 good performances in the week, which is 2 things.
Statistically, we are only 3 points behind Chesterfield, so it's not a bad position to be in.
What would you apart from the obvious kind of like, character and effort and all that, what would you like to see on the pitch? How would you maybe like to see us start the game? Bearing in mind, we've no Will Sutton, we've still got the injury concerns, Dan Ward, etc.
Honestly, unless his legs are not working, I'd want to see Reid in the team. I think Reid deserves a run out. He kind of gives us something that Norwood and Nuttall.
He poised the crowd as well, doesn't he, Reid? You get the crowd get right behind him. Do you know what I mean?
I'd give him a run out with Norwood. I'd start with Gardner. Whether he lasts the game doesn't really matter. I think it's that issue that you put your best team out. You put a team out to win. You can defend the lead. You can't kind of bring him on when we're 2-0 down. So I think I'm looking for those incremental changes. I'm just looking for a bit of organisation and a bit of hope that there's a plan. So I don't expect us to be world beaters. And in some respects, I'd dread it if we do win the next 2 games because everybody's going to think we're going to win the league. So I'd love it, but I'd want balance.
Football fans are fickle, aren't they? I mean, it's hard work trying to cut. It's hard work with doing something like this, and this is where you get accusations of kissing up to the manager and players in being consistent in your view, trying to stay consistent in your view rather than what you see all the time and hear from a lot of football fans, which is, like you say, one week you're getting relegated, the next week you're winning the league, and it's up and down for them. Like trying to stay like consistent and in your views is hard. But we'll have to. There's no need to panic. People at the club are being paid to make these decisions. And we have to let them get on and do it, I think. So, anyway, Mark. So I want to bring somebody in because I want to bring Bin Man in. Hello, Bin Man.
Hi, you all right, guys?
Yeah. Before we start, we've got a new feature, and we'd like you two to be the first 2 to try it out because it's competitive. It's competitive. This one, isn't it, Dave? So
and you win a prize, don't you?
Yeah. So let's introduce it now. We're going to break the negativity a little bit now.
Sexy Daves. Sexy Daves. Sexy Daves. Sexy Daves. Sexy Daves. What words?
Right.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. Explain it all. This is Sexy Dave's War on Words. Every week, Dave's going to take a war on words and he's going to jumble up
an X.
A word.
No, an X.
In this week's, it's an X player.
Word. Yeah, it's an X player. And
you know Countdown's Conundrum?
Yeah.
It's that.
but we read it better.
Right, but it's Sexy Days War on Words now. So, are you ready, big man?
Yeah.
Are you ready, Mark? What we're going to play this now, right?
Mark, you there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
What we need you to do is we need you to guess the player. All right.
Go on.
Let's go.
Right. Go on. I'm not good at this shit, but crack on.
Well,
2 useless people.
right. Who is it? Give any clues, Dave?
No.
Anyone in the comments?
Come on.
Who's going to get
Come
it
on.
first?
Got a clue?
It's not April
He's
Sucker.
a midfielder.
Anyone in the comments?
Look like Rodney Trotter.
Oh,
Give us
Metcalf.
his first letter.
Metcalf, right there.
Richard Metcalf. Well done.
There you go.
Right at the end. Hang on. Where is it? The
And the
answer,
answer
Sexy
is-
Dave's answer, War on Words, is Paul Rickers.
Paul Rickers. There you go. There'll be another one next week.
Possibly.
Maybe.
How do I get rid of that, Dave?
I don't know.
Oh, there it is.
I don't know.
Remove. Right. Thanks for your call, Mark. Let's have a chat with Big Man. All the best. Thanks a lot. Big Man.
You all right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not.
Oh, well, look. I mean, look. You got caught in a traffic jam on the way home on the M62. Something that was very, very tragic.
Couldn't we got caught in one beforehand?
You could. I mean, but getting caught in a tragic accident is tragic. But every
No,
time
of
of day it
course,
is.
of
But
course.
you know, it's only football, isn't it? It's only one game of the season. It's not. We've had worse, haven't we? But it's not as bad as getting relegated out of the National League and having them two Herberts in charge, is it?
No, but that can't continue on Saturday. That was an absolute disgrace. Like, I might as well have just reiterated what Danny said, because Danny was absolutely bang on. It was an absolute disgrace. That midfield is absolutely woeful. Woeful. They didn't even put a challenge in. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
Listen, you're the one getting booed on, mate. Dom's booing you on.
So,
we're bad.
Man,
Say that again, sorry.
what's the answer?
Well, obviously we need Lundstrom back, don't we? Hopefully he's back in a couple of weeks. That's a big loss. I know he hasn't hardly played for us. We know what it's about. But I think we still need another midfielder, because if Lundstrom is going to keep getting injuries, or someone else, we're going to have this problem again. So
Well, this is typical Latics, though, isn't it? He played every minute of every game last season, didn't he? And he doesn't even start the season for Latics. How does that kind of thing happen to us over and over?
I know
again?
it's just our luck in it. It is just one of them. It is. It can't be out. But it's not like he's out for months, is it? He's back in a couple of weeks, so But
where do you stand on the manager debate? Because that's obviously the main thing that people are talking about.
I don't dislike Unsworth as a person. I dislike his tactics. I dislike the way he sets up for football. There's no attacking intent. And I've had this conversation this week with a few guys. Like, is it because he was a defender in his playing days? Is he so defensive in his managerial ways? You know what I mean? I don't know. I really don't. But he just sets up negative. It's like a 1-0 victory will do. I know any victory will do, but it just sets out to be negative, and I don't like it.
Is it overcautious, do you think?
Yeah.
But you're talking about tactics, big man. What were the tactics? Tactics means that you've got tactics and strategy. There wasn't one there wasn't anything at the weekend, was there?
Absolutely nothing.
There was nothing like discernible that you could say, well, this is how we're trying to play it. There was no like linking up between any areas of the pitch. There was just big long balls that were getting. There was no organisation. There were no tactics. That's what disappointed me the most. It doesn't seem to be any kind of like anything that had come off the training ground in pre-season. Was evident on the pitch.
It wasn't. It was, but we don't even hear from him though, Matt. We didn't even hear from him before Saturday. I know he had COVID. I know that, but we don't ever hear of him. When it's in Thursday, the press day, will he be doing an interview? Ready for Saturday?
Should be. Did someone say that Suzanne's not around?
Suzanne's not around, but yeah.
So she used to go to the club on Thursday.
We need to hear from him.
I mean, he came on our show for an hour, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But we need weekly updates of what he thinks and what's going right, what's going wrong. We do need to hear from him. He's the main man at the club. He's the one who's driving us forward.
I think it's fair that.
We don't hear from him. But this week, Matt, seen a comment from you about saying with the wrong time to play Southend. I absolutely totally disagree, Matt.
They beat us 4-0, mate. So it was obviously the wrong time to play them.
Absolutely. But this time last week, Matt, if we could have handpicked our fixtures instead of who we're playing, I'd like to have played Southend with the way they've been at summer. If you was a neutral on Saturday and you didn't know anything about two clubs and you just decided to go to a game and you said to him, one club's in turmoil, they'd have picked us.
Good point.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, I get that. What my point is that over the season, the limitations that they have, I think, will be telling on their squad. So they're not. It's not like these lads are all. It's not like the old days. It's not like they've been out drinking 10 pints a day because it's pre-season. They've all been looking after themselves, so they were all still reasonably fit. They've taken that upon themselves. They all had a point to prove. They finished. They did well last season, and they've still got plenty of those players. So it's not like that they were ever going to be a walkover. They did very well. You've got to give them credit to the manager and the players.
Yeah.
But I think the transfer embargo and all that kind of stuff, and the small squad over the coming games as the season progresses, it's going to get harder and harder for them to put out their best team, and it'd be easier to turn them over. So I think I stand by it. I think in some ways it was the wrong time to play, but we should have given them a far tougher test than we did, and that's on us. It's not about Southend. It's about Latics. It's about how we went out and set up really badly, didn't look like we had a system or knew what we were doing, and then did nothing about it. That's what annoys me.
Yeah,
did nothing about it during the game. Stevens just said there was no plan B. It looked like there was no plan A or plan B. So that frustrates me. And one game in, there's loads to play for, but. Yeah, like I said, we can only judge it on that one game, can't we? And it was that's what we're here to talk about. It was a very the way that fans feel about the manager, and people are entitled to feel the way they feel for whatever reason. It's not done his cause any favours, has it?
What score has Saturday been, man?
I think we'll win 2-0. I think we'll win. We should be winning. We want our favourites to go up, and let's show we are. But we turn up like Saturday. There's no way. But in Saturday, we with our midfield, and I think Gardner, regardless if he comes in and only does 20 minutes, that 20 minutes might put us 2 up. I don't care. Put him in.
We'll soon find out, my mate. So we'll see you on Saturday, pal. Thanks for coming on.
See you
Saturday. Bye.
A man who may disagree with him is Mr. Nick Cansfield. Hopefully, he's got his sound sorted. Nick.
Hello.
It'll do. It'll do. You got 5. Yeah. Carry on.
You can hear me.
We can hear you. Yeah, it's not the best connection, but it's. Go on.
I'll tell you what. Listening to everybody ringing in, I agree with you, Matt. You're never going to sack the manager after one game, and you can't really tell very much about the season from one game. Where Southend on the top of their game, where you're on the bottom of your game. Same for us against Oxford. It's really difficult to read anything into it. But all the comments sound so much like we were at the beginning of last season with our manager. And I know you saw that from the game at Oldham, that we set up trying to get away with a 0-0. And after 60 minutes, where we were quite competitive and we were matching you, we took a striker off and brought a defender on to go 5 at the back. And as you said, one of you said earlier, what we want to see from our managers is something that we can't see as a fan. Yeah. And seeing 5 at the back every single week and seeing us leak goals. One game he actually switched to 6 at the back to try and shore up the defence. It's mad. So it's no surprise that he got sacked.
So tell us a little bit about how you're feeling from an odd shop perspective after your start to the season, your pre-season, and how you think you're going to get on up at Boundary Park on Saturday.
Well, I've taken some soundings. Slabber Andy was going for a 1-1 draw. Bill from the Midlands 2-1 to us. Gary 3-2 to us. Ex-DJ Big Z, he's going for 3-2 to us.
Ooh.
Steve from number 11 is a bit more confident. He's going for 4-2. And I'm going for 2-2 with Oldham scoring the equaliser in the 125th minute of the game. Because that's the way.
Yeah, that new law coming in. He's going to be interesting this season. And Oldham and Aldershot I think they're going to suffer from that because you, like us, leaked the last-minute goals and concede those.
Yeah,
you
can see the 3 right at the end, didn't you?
Yeah,
we're down to 10 men, and to be honest,
It's
they've kind
horrendous.
of look like they're giving up a little bit, really, which is not good. What's I think we had Mark White came and give us some predictions. Pete Wild give us some predictions. I think Mark White had you for going down. What do you think this season's going to be like?
What does he know? How good was he on your show? He was
he may be confirmed in a couple of weeks, so you're more than welcome to come on and have it out with him.
Yeah, he's a good lad. But so is there any chance of you going down, do you think, or are you pretty solid?
Well, so we sacked the second manager of last season 6 games before the end of it and brought in Tommy Witherington from Kings Lynn, much to Stephen Cleave's disgust. Back end of last season, we were certainly a bit more solid at the back. We had a lot more attacking intent. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Keep going.
Yeah. A lot more attacking intent, and we're starting to look at a much better team. Hopes at the beginning of this season were a lot higher. Pre-season seemed to go really well. Saturday, we scored 5 goals. I mean, we can see the 2 fairly poor goals, but we scored 5. And going
good for
forward,
confidence, isn't it? Good for confidence.
Going forward, the top
5
3
in.
look absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So who knows?
So you reckon it's going to be 2-2 on Saturday, which would leave Oldham with 1 point from 2 games, and you with 4. So that'd be it'd be all right for you. You'd be happy with that.
Will you be up on Saturday, Nick?
Well, sadly, I can't. One of my kids is moving back home, and we've used his bedroom as a storeroom for the last 6 months. So I need to.
No, what you're saying is you've been to Oldham once, and you don't fancy it again. So that's fine. Don't worry about it.
What I'm actually saying is that I'm prioritising Files over Oldham.
Well,
if his son comes back, then he can look after the dog, which means I can go to File. And I need to go to File for a bit of research for my next book.
Oh, well. Fair enough. You don't need to make any more excuses.
Just don't go to Blackpool.
That's enough.
You'd be bitterly disappointed.
Right, we want to try and keep the show to an hour, so we're gonna love you and leave you, Nick. We're gonna get on to the last 2 callers that are still hanging on. So all the best.
Commiserations for Saturday. But
hope you send you back with your tail between your legs, my
Cheers,
friend.
mate. See you later.
See you later. Right. Keep the faith. Don't show anything rude.
Hey, fellas.
How are you?
Not so bad of yourselves?
Yeah, good.
Good. Look, with the Unsworth thing for me, the only criticism I've got with David Unsworth is just some of the comments he makes it upsets a lot of fans. So, last year, he turns around and said Magnus Norman is one of the best goalers in the league. He's not. Magnus Norman is not one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Now, if you've got half a brain of football, you can see that he's an okay goalie, but he's not one of the best keepers in the league. He's just not. As much as he's a young lad and, he's one of our own, but when he makes, comments like Will Sutton did absolutely fine at right back, he didn't. Will Sutton did not do well at right back, and I think majority of us agree with that. And that's what gets a lot of fans' backs up. Now, I know he's never going to come out and say Will Sutton didn't do well at right back, and I know he's never going to turn around and say, anything negative against his players. But what he can say is very little when it comes to, 50-50, answers. And, if he wants to big his players up, which I know he's going to do, but you do that in the dressing room. You put an arm around your players and you tell them how good you think they are. That's what part of a manager is. But you don't tell fans things that we laugh at, because Will Sutton is not a right wing back. We know he's not. I think Will Sutton was brilliant at centre half. I remember going to Walsall a few years ago and he scored at Walsall. He looked really good at Peter Clark. He's not a right back, and I know he's a young lad, but that's what doesn't help him out. Now, going into Saturday's game, one of the best things that Unsworth could do, and he does say he listens to certain comments on social media, is just leave Joe Nuttall on the bench. Whether we like him or we don't like him, majority of the fans don't want him to start. For me, that would give him a little bit more time. It'd stop fans, being aggravated by him from the minute the whistle blows by, yes, he's listened to us. Play Fondop or play Reed or play Willoughby. He's like he said, he listens to his audience, and that's something I think he's got to do to give himself a little bit of time on Saturday.
He'd be so confused if he listens to his audience though tonight, because like we've had one caller saying that he needs to come out and talk, or a number of people saying he needs to come out and talk more, and then you're saying he needs to talk less because he's saying stuff that So there's a bit of that for him, isn't there? So
I think as a football manager, you've got to be careful what you say, because as you say, football fans are fickle. They'll hold you to every single word you say. Whatever you need to say to your players, you do it in the change rooms, and you say what is the right thing to the fans, not like Norman's this and Sutton's this, and
But this is why so many football interviews are really, really boring, because football players and managers they just say, like, they just roll out these, and they don't put any effort into it, because they do get hung out for it. David Unsworth comes on our show and talks about fast dynamic football. It gets thrown back at him when we play that game, games like we did on Saturday. So it is a tough thing to manage, and it does take
I wouldn't like the Oldham job. I wouldn't like to do it. Would you?
Yeah, love it.
There's a big expectation, isn't there? And let's be honest. Oldham, we all think there might be a massive club in that league, but it's an hard league. There's one team automatically goes up. It's such an hard league.
Really,
and going back to Saturday's game, I think what a lot of Oldham fans, including myself, we've got to remember here: Southend finished 2 points out of the playoffs last year. We don't know exactly how many players they've lost, but by the looks of things on Saturday, it doesn't look like they've lost a lot of players.
No, when we played them last season, they played us off the park. We were lucky to win that game.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the league table from last year, they won 20 games, fellas, last year. It's 48%. They won last year. And I think we've probably gone down there thinking we've got the better of these.
This is the thing that Southend. This is the thing with Southend. Like last season, the fans want them out, the owner out, because of all these. You can see the neglect around Root Soul, unpaid bills, all that. But inexplicably, really, when you think about it, against all the odds, whether it's got a good manager as well, they've got a good team, and they had a good team last season. They've still got the basis of that team this season. So it kind of that's part of the issue with the fans. They're kind of like wanting to get behind it. So it's a tough one for them. But by the by, it was a tough ask to play Southend on Saturday, and we fell short. And we've got to make significant changes on Saturday, because that did not work. And unless
I agree, we shouldn't have beaten. We should not have been beaten 4-0. We just shouldn't have been beaten 4-0. But I think if it would have been beaten 1-0, we'd have still got a lot of these comments saying, "Oh, bloody ridiculous," and this and this. Like I said, Southend finished pretty high up last season. They finished 2 points out of the playoffs. And the only one that puzzles me is the Dan Gardner one. He was on the bench against Mansfield, and he's on the bench on Saturday, and he never used him. I mean, he could have took something out of that game on Saturday by saying, "All right, we've lost 4-0, but we've got 30 minutes to Dan Gardner's legs. We'll take the positive of that."
Yeah.
He didn't get anything out of that game on Saturday. Do what's the point of putting Dan Gardner on the bench if you're not going to use him at 4-0? You might as well have took Alamo or put Reed on your bench and put another attacking option in there and gone for it.
No, I agree with that, and we were saying it during the game. It was a curious. There was lots of curious things at the weekend. We have to draw a line under it on Saturday, and we have to hope that whatever team he puts out, has got a lot of fire in the belly, and that he's got a lot of fire in his belly, and because I'm sure that the fans will have. We'll go out there on Saturday, and we'll be dying for a performance, and the players are going to have to get off to a flyer, I think, really, to make up for what happened on Saturday, aren't they?
What's going on Saturday, mate?
And we're going to win 5-0, mate. And he's going to start Mike Fondop, and he's going to bag an hat-trick, and he's going to get us all on the up, mate. Because that is one player for me. If you want to please your fans, put Mike Fondop on that pitch, because he's a character, and he tries, and he jumps, and he heads, and he's brilliant, Mike Fondop. I'm not saying a brilliant footballer, but he's just great to have around, and you can see what the players get from him. He's an energy, and the fans love him. So,
that's why.
More time.
That's why, as the captain said, he's going to be playing at right back on Saturday. So, right, thanks for that.
Mate.
Thanks for the call. Lots of good points there. Cheers,
Thanks.
mate. Right, we're going to try and get through.
Yeah, we've got 3 callers left. That's it.
Graham.
Graham.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Yeah, I was disappointed with the result, but it sounds, as I'm going to sound controversial here, but I was happy about it for one reason as well. Because if
What's
we're
that?
going
Get rid of him.
if we're going to have a blip this season, I want it now rather than halfway through the season when we're challenging for the playoffs. I'd rather take the blip in the first couple of games, and then the players get cheated on by the fact that they're, do you know what I mean, and then start playing.
I think I said this on the podcast at the weekend. It's that things like this invoke a response, and it's either a positive response or it's a negative response, and so it's about character now, isn't it? And that might have been, like you say, it could actually have been a good thing. It could be what we need to give them a shake and wake everybody up a bit, but we'll only find that out once we've kicked the ball again on Saturday.
No, I thought, like I said, the performance wasn't the greatest, but we can't judge pre-season on it because we were playing lower league teams.
How did your other team get on up in Scotland?
1-0 up until 80 minutes, gave away free kick, and the guy bent around the wall in the top corner, and we drew 1 each.
No, so you
At least you drew.
You didn't have a great week.
You know what makes it even funnier? We gave him away last year because we didn't think he was good enough.
Yeah, these things do tend to come back and bite you on the arse, don't they? So, but yeah, I mean,
I'd rather drop them. I'd rather drop 3 points in Southend than drop them at Chesterfield playing them.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's going to be more points that we're going to drop.
That's a tough call.
We're going to be, there's a lot more disappointing performances, a lot more disappointing results to come. Where I said again on the pod at the weekend, we're a long way off being anywhere. I think what it is with us, because we're a big club in this division, because we've got new owners who've got a bit of cash and a bit of nous, and they're doing great things around the stadium. We want us to be the next Notts County Wrexham story, and we're a long way off that yet. We're a long way off that yet, and we're not as poor as Saturday suggests in terms of the health of the club and the health of the squad. But we're still a long way off.
But it's a long season, so let's just chill out.
You
chill out for goodness' sake.
I see you'll be stood next to you on Saturday, and you'll be cussing
cussing.
Yeah, cussing
and swearing and
stressing,
belly aching,
getting all red and flustered.
Yeah.
Is there not games to come as well? Pretty soon, do we not go into the EFL Trophy?
No, we're not in the English Football League, are we?
No, we've got the FA Trophy.
That's what I mean. Sorry,
Yeah.
Last year we lost to Gateshead, but I mean, I would like a wee run that. I mean, and
Wembley.
Let's do it.
I mean,
what score on Saturday, mate? What do you think we're going to do?
I would take 1-0.
Yep, me too.
Yeah,
deflection off the ref.
Yeah.
Well, under law, you can't have that anymore, mate. But
1-0
1-0 win. All right, mate. Thanks very much. Let's get Jeff in.
Cheers, Graham. See you, mate. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Right, Jeff, are you there, Jeff?
Jeff.
Last caller.
Unmute, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
How you doing?
How you doing, mate?
I'm good. Are you? So you all right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, fine.
It's like an hour in now.
I'd put my camera on, but it's one of those, you're on holiday and it's an holiday mode camera, and I don't want to pee people off by putting my camera on and showing the background of it.
If you're naked,
listen, we've had worse than that tonight. Don't worry about it.
Oh, have you? Sorry, I've joined a bit late. The Uzo's just started to kick in, hence why I've just joined you. So.
Right, okay. Well, it's Uzo kicking in and making you feel good about that. It's not making you feel bad about it.
It never changes me, to be honest. You know what I mean? It's like, I think you just said then, Dave, let's just chill out. We've played the first game. We've stepped out. It's been a poor performance. Yeah, of course, we've got expectations this season. There's loads of brilliant stuff going on off the field, brilliant stuff on the field. We've got some signings, we've got some positivity within the club. Let's just, let's take it a game at a time and let's build some momentum. And I think we will do. We'll build some momentum, but let's just not get Sheffield United after the first game.
The thing is, Jeff, whenever things happen like this, right, the numbers that listen to the podcast and the phone in and people get involved go up. It's like the reaction is when it's bad and there's something to stick the boot in on, people love it more, love participating more than when it's going well. When it's not that it's ever gone well while we've been doing this, but there's more of a reaction when something like this happens and people sort of want to get involved.
It's great
in it
as well,
more.
and we love it.
So from that point of view, it's I guess what. I think, conversely, if we start challenging at the top end of the table, I'm sure people will get involved. We just never had that experience yet. After this 4 seasons in, hopefully this will be the one.
Season 30 of the Galactic Football Phone-In. We're nearly there.
So where are you if you're drinking Ouzo? Are you in Greece or something?
I am. I'm on Kalymnos, just off Cos. So yeah.
It's not on fire, is it?
I'm in Llandudno.
It's not on fire there, is it?
Yeah.
Not burning.
Just south of Skegness. No. There's no way. There's only one way to drink ouzo, and that's with ice. So I said, when they did the bar thing and they were saying about the warm lager and stuff, I said, just put some ouzo. Just give us boys some ouzo, and I'll be happy with that. Put some ouzo in Joe Royal stand.
The only way to drink ouzo was via your mouth, but if you drink it with ice, then I'd love to see it.
Just ouzo on ice every night. Just six or seven beers with your meal, and ouzo with ice at the end of the night. It's the way to go, lads.
6 or 7 beers with your starter. Yeah.
Just honestly, but like back to the Latics. Honestly, seriously, I just think, like you said, we we're a long time from any kind of success, and our hopes have been raised, and they're raised again this year, for the first time in a long time. And let's ride on that and see how it goes. There's clear debate and there's clear diversion with the fans of what we think of Unsworth, but let's just give the process time. It's being back. There's players coming in. Let's go. Let's enjoy it. Come on.
Well, on that note,
how can we not end the show on that note?
Well, listen. I think one just Latics fans have an ouzo with ice and just relax.
Ouzo and ice and a
it's
bit of
worked for Jeff.
Yeah,
tranquilo, my friends.
Tranquilo.
Enjoy the rest of your holiday, Jeff.
Yeah, mass. Cheers, boys.
Take care, mate.
Doing a good job. See you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers. There we go.
Tranquilo, Yamas.
So there we go. There's a flavour.
So we've had Sexy Dave's War on Words. We've had a bit of blue material.
Yeah, that was a shock, wasn't
it? A lot of callers. Thank you very much. Yeah. It's great to have you on. We've had a lot watching as well.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah,
we got up to 50 tonight. No, we had really good numbers. Thank you all, you the listener.
Obviously, if you're going to watch it again, beware that there is explicit content in this week's episode.
And I'll tell Matt to calm down for next week. Sorry,
I thought the table. Anyway, never mind. Right, thanks for getting involved, and we'll see you all after we get 6 points at home in the coming week. Bye. The Boundary Park Alert System is hosted and produced weekly by Matt Dean, Andy Halliwell and Dave Bradley. A huge thank you goes to those people who already subscribe to the podcast. We appreciate you all, and if you'd like to help us out financially, please visit oafcpodcast.co.uk and click support or find the link in the show notes. It's only $2.99 a month to subscribe, but if you'd rather make a one-off donation, please visit buymeacoffee.com/OAFC podcast or click the link on our website. Please follow and interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at OAFC Podcast, and subscribe to youtube.com/@OAFC Podcast, where you will find the Latics Football Phone-In with myself and Dave Bradley live every Wednesday from 8:30 p.m. We'd like to thank Arlene Finnegan for writing our excellent weekly blog, which we encourage you to read on our website every Saturday morning. And thanks also goes to Paul Prendergast for providing us with all the Latics Mind questions. The title music for the show is by Manchester DJ and producer Starion, and for more information visit bandcamp.com/Red Laser Records. You can help change the game by listening to us on the Fan Hub app along with all major podcast platforms. Please like, subscribe and review the pod and help us climb the rankings to get more listeners wherever you listen. Thank you for listening, and if you'd like to be a guest or contribute to the show in any way, we'd love to hear from you. See you next week.